Hi, welcome to another episode of Will's Way with Words, and today we're going to do something really radical. We're not going to deal with my way with words at all. We're going to look at other people that write poetry that I like, that has been published. And one of my favorites is this guy from Chile, Nicanor Parra. Excuse my English way of botching an Hispanic name. He was born in Chile in 1914, so it's old guy. He was first published in 1954. Once again, old guy in Chile. And then they had a little bit of a political nightmare there, and pretty sure he either got arrested or assassinated or thrown out of the country, which is how you know you're really a good poet, because stuff like that has a political impact. And one of his most famous books, he may have more than one, is called Anti-Poems. And he had an attitude, being a mathematician, not a poet, that things became too predictable in the poetry world, especially in his country where Pablo Neruda is from. And he was just writing on his own and eventually started reading it out loud and got published. And like I said, he started getting in trouble. One of his great poems, in my opinion, is called Childhood Memories. All I could do was wander aimless from one place to another, occasionally colliding with trees, bumping into beggars. I cut my way through jungles of chairs and tables, my soul hanging from a thin thread. I watched the large leaves of autumn fall. It was all useless. Somehow I continued to sink deeper into a kind of jelly. People laughed at my outbursts. People swayed in their chairs like seaweed washed by waves. The women gave me dirty looks that elated and depressed me. It made me weep. It made me laugh, all against my will. The result of all this was a feeling of revulsion. I had a storm of incoherent phrases, threats, insults, uncalled for curses. There was an exhausting movement of the hips. There were deadly dances. They all left me panting. I was unable to raise my head for days and nights on end. I wandered aimless here and there. Believe me, my soul floated above the street, asking for help, asking for a little tenderness. I visited cemeteries with a piece of paper and a pencil. I was determined not to be deceived. I went over and over the same subject. I scrutinized everything with utmost care. In a fit of rage, I tore out my own hair, and in this sad state, I made my first classroom appearance. I dragged myself from one literary circle to another like a man with a gaping bullet wound. I walked into private homes and with the sharp edge of my tongue attempted to get in touch with those around me. They read the newspapers or disappeared behind taxis. Where was one to go? At that hour of night, all the shops were closed. I thought of a small piece of onion I'd noticed at dinner, and I thought of the abyss that separates us all from the other abysses. That's Nicanor Parra, old guy. Anti-Poems.